Diabetes, meanwhile, is a global epidemic that today represents an estimated $25 billion drug and device market. And some analysts think that number could double over the next several years. And the world's biggest diabetes care company, Novo Nordisk, it is poised to participate in that growth, of course. And CNBC's pharmaceuticals reporter Mike Huckman joins us now live with another CNBC exclusive. Hi, Mike.
Good afternoon, Sue. And November, if you didn't know this, is actually Diabetes Awareness Month here in the United States, but it is always Diabetes Awareness Month at Danish-based Novo Nordisk, which actually has its U.S. headquarters here in the state of New Jersey. And joining me now for his first ever CNBC U.S. interview is Mr. Lars Sørensen, who is the president and CEO of Novo Nordisk. Good afternoon, sir, and thank you for being here.
Thank you, Mike.
So next to the economy and jobs, healthcare reform remains pretty much front and center here in the state. So to what extent will the bill that's been passed by the House potentially result in more diabetic Americans getting on insulin, staying on insulin, and therefore will you be able to make up in sales volume what you might lose in government negotiated pricing?
You point directly to the issues at stake here. The whole purpose of healthcare reform is to make healthcare more accessible to people who are not well insured at the moment, and that is likely to be people with a high incidence rate of diabetes, and hence long term it is our hope that for the diabetes community in the United States that would mean that more people will have access to life-saving treatment, and consequently that we will be able to make up in the long run business-wise for the short-term negative impact that we anticipate is coming from the escalating cost and ask for rebates which the industry has to face.
So short-term negative, long-term upside.
That would be my bet, yes.
All right, so your company is anxiously awaiting for an FDA decision on the first ever one-a-day injection for diabetes, but it's had at least one delay along the way. And coincidentally, Leerink Swann is out with this 85-page research report today on the class of drugs that this drug Victoza is a part of. And it once again raises concerns about cancer that you saw in rats and mice. Is that a non-starter? Is that the reason why there's this FDA holdup?
I think there has been a delay in the decision on the part of the FDA because FDA as well as the medical community knows that this is a very important class of drugs that may potentially transform treatment for people with type 2 diabetes, and hence all of these drugs have to be evaluated very carefully. And one of the issues are some rodent-specific findings which we believe that we have demonstrated in great detail that this is not of human clinical relevance, but we will know, of course, the verdict from the FDA relatively shortly.
But Lilly, Amylin, and Alkermes are nipping at your heels. They've got a once-a-week version of a similar drug that is close to getting an FDA decision. This shrinking lead time, how costly is that to you? Because a lot of analysts say that once a week is going to trump your once a day. How costly is that shrinking lead time, and might it force you to do cost cuts and a restructuring?
Formulations of drugs that are having longer actions once weekly are relatively rare. That formulation often comes at a cost. We think that the once daily formulation is going to be very, very attractive for people with diabetes, and we have to anticipate long term that there will be other suppliers of similar products in that class, because that class is going to expand significantly, and therefore there will be one, there will be two, there will be three, there will be four players, and we're just anticipating that will happen. We think we have the lead in the class, and we think we have follow-up compounds that are going to be even more interesting.
So as we sit here and speak, there is a 2-day huge FDA public hearing going on regarding pharma and social media. And you, I think, are one of the few, if not the only drug company, at least here in the U.S., that's actively promoting a product, your insulin Levemir, on Twitter with the race car driver, Charlie Kimball. Are you crossing over a line? Do you think the FDA is going to shut you down?
We certainly do not hope that we are crossing a line. I think we're taking advantage of fantastic new media opportunities. We have regulatory expertise that are guiding us in doing so, and we think it's very appropriate that the FDA is having this hearing to give us in the industry guidance of how can we create communities which can communicate new and better treatment to people with chronic disease, in our case diabetes, but of course not overstepping the regulatory and compliance boundaries that we have to abide by. So I think we welcome this discussion, and we look forward to the result from the hearings.
Mr. Sorensen, we have to go, but I want people to know that you ride your bike to work 10 miles, right? Each way. Are you trying to set an example for diabetics that it's not just drugs, it's diet and exercise?
I'm trying to stay healthy for myself, and if I as an individual can inspire people in my company and other people to try to live a healthy life, then I think we would not be facing all the problems of chronic disease.
Lars Sorensen, the very fit Lars Sorensen, the president and CEO of Novo Nordisk. Thanks again for joining us for that exclusive interview. Guys, how many big-time American CEOs can you point to who ride their bike 10 miles each way to work every day?
Not very many, Mike. He's an inspiration. Thanks very much.